Hi guys, my name is Tessa and we're going to be doing yoga for Zen today. Just a chance to feel a little more centered and peaceful. You will be needing a couple of props, so go ahead and grab a block if you have one, and just something like a rolled up towel, or if you have a yoga blanket, that's ideal. So let's get started in just a neutral position. And if your hips tend to be on the tighter side, I would go ahead and just sit on your towel or your blanket, whatever you have. So go ahead and just check in. You can shake out your knees and feeling rooted through your sit bones. Go ahead and bring your arms overhead, nice long spine. And just start to slide your hands forward. We are just warming up the legs. We're not trying to get into our deepest position. Just breathing into those hamstrings and calves before moving into the hips. And on your way up, go ahead and just grab your inner knees, and you can bring the soles of your feet together. And you can rock a little bit, breathing into those groins, those hips. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this underneath me, but if your hips feel tight, you're better off with sitting on something. Baddha Konasana, lengthen your spine. You can grab hold of your ankles or your shins, feeling rooted through your sit bones, rolling those shoulders back. And just start to walk your hands forward, breathing into those hips. And what side might feel a little tighter? Just letting that breath deepen as you move a little bit deeper into the hips. And feeling rooted through the sit bones. Lengthening that spine. And breathing into those groins, those hips. And you can release, bring the knees up and back to neutral. I'm going to do half pigeon. Go ahead and bring your right ankle underneath your left knee, and you're going to stack your legs. So you can bring that left ankle on top of the right knee, and if your knee is up, it's perfectly fine. Just feeling rooted through the sit bones wherever you are, and long through the spine. And if you want more, you can start to come forward, feeling it in that side glute and the hip, and keeping the spine nice and long as you come forward. And notice if you're clenching your abdomen or your jaw or your face, and just relax. And a few deep breaths here. Again, feeling rooted through the sit bones, nice long spine. Release and slowly come out of that. And opposite side, bringing the left ankle under the right knee and stretching this right hip. And if you feel more tight on one side, that's very normal. Wherever you're at, staying rooted and lengthening through the spine as you move deeper. Never rushing, really taking our time with these hips. And just relax your face and your abdomen. And breathe in those hips, especially that right hip. One more good breath here. Come out, and coming into child's pose, go ahead and come onto all fours. big toes together, knees wider than hip distance apart. Let those hips sink towards the heels and just let your head rest on the mat. And deep inhales and exhales, especially in these forward bends. And just breathing into those hips. You can let your face soften, and you can just walk those hands forward, pressing those palms, feeling length in the spine, stretch in the low spine. And stretch in the hips. And coming up into downward facing dog, go ahead and tuck the toes under, spread the fingers wide, and just press those thighs back, letting the heels fall towards your mat or the floor. And enjoying that length in the spine, strength in the thighs. And go ahead and lift that left leg. You can bend that left knee, letting the right heel drop closer to the mat. Allowing those hips to open and coming into full pigeon. You can bring the knee ideally to a 90-degree angle, the leg to a 90-degree angle. Nobody really does that, but that's the goal. And this is where you're going to need your support. So if there's space between your hip and the ground, go ahead and just shove your towel. You can even use a block. And once you feel connected, that hip supported, just breathe into that hip and you can start moving a little bit deeper. Come onto your forearms. And the moment that your hip lifts off of that support, that's when you know you need to stop. You can come all the way down. You can rest your head on the floor. Breathing into that hip where we can store a lot of stress and built up emotion, just letting go, breathing. And you can come up, you can get rid of that support and slowly coming back into dog, spread those fingers wide, kind of reset. You can tuck those toes under, pressing the thighs back, taking a breath here. And opposite side, go ahead and bring the right leg up and bend that right knee, letting the left heel sink down. Really opening up that right hip and coming into full pigeon. Grab that support if you need it for that right hip. And you can come a little bit deeper and just breathe into that right hip. And another way to deepen the stretch for the hip is just to keep bringing this forward leg to closer to a 90-degree angle. Some deep breaths here. One more good breath. Leaning into that discomfort. Slowly coming out. And back into child's pose, big toes together, knees apart. And just let your hips sink towards your heels, letting that head rest. And you can bring your arms by your hands by your head, or you can even wrap your arms around your body. Just enjoying that new openness in the hips. You can come on up. And let's go ahead and lay down and make sure that your block is handy. Before you lay down, go ahead and look at your feet and just make sure that your feet are about hip distance apart and your toes are aligned. And we're just going to open up our chest a little bit more. Go ahead and just with straight arms, make sure that you can touch your heels with your fingertips. And just feeling rooted through the feet, go ahead and press through the feet just enough to slide that block. And see if you can, open a little bit more without clenching your jaw or your abdomen. Just relax and breathe. If you feel any pain or pinching in your low back, you definitely need to take a step back. If you feel ready to move a little bit deeper, go ahead and bring that block to its next highest setting. And just notice as you begin to open more, if you start to clench your front body, and just relax those shoulders. Let the palms face up. And if you want a little bit more, go ahead and lift those hips and bring that block to its highest setting. Just allowing the front body to open without clenching or tightening. Feeling rooted through the feet. And finally coming out of this position nice and slow. Wherever the block is, you can go ahead and put it to the side and just nice and slow, one vertebrae at a time, coming out. And you can give yourself a little hug. Go ahead and bring your knees in towards your chest, and you can grab your wrists and bring that head up, just cooling down the spine. And you can release. If you like this video, you can join us on our app Yoga Plus, and we hope to see you there. And thanks again for watching.
Join us for 14 and 30-day programs, hour-long classes, and much more on our yoga app, Yoga Plus by Psyche Truth. It's free to download and features a variety of wellness content, including yoga, fitness, Pilates, guided meditations, and interviews with dozens of wellness experts.